Have you ever wondered what it really takes to turn a personal belief into a global movement? Well, the 60-year journey of Dr. Ahmad Totonji is basically a masterclass in how to do it. It's an incredible story of strategic planning, deep faith, and just relentless perseverance. So imagine this. As he was leaving home, his father gave him this one piece of advice. And it's more than just a nice saying, right? This became his foundational principle. It's like the core operating system that guided every single decision he made for the rest of his life. And that one bit of guidance, it fueled a journey that literally spanned the globe. So the big question is, how does one person, starting with almost nothing, build a legacy of service that touches people in over 130 countries? That's what we're going to unpack here. You know, his colleagues had this perfect way of describing him: the mind of an engineer and the heart of a believer. And that's not just some poetic line. It nails his ability to combine methodical, strategic planning with this deep, unwavering conviction to help people. Honestly, that combination was a superpower. Okay, so what was the core philosophy that was really driving him? Well, it all goes back to his unique understanding of what faith actually means. See, for Dr. Totonji, faith wasn't passive at all. It wasn't just a list of beliefs you hold in your head. No, it was a call to action. It was a blueprint for making real change in the world, a driving force to turn principles into actual projects that made communities better. And you have to appreciate how humble his start was. It all began with his vision when he was just a student, and he funded it with just a few $100s of his own money. But by getting a team of people who shared his vision, that tiny seed grew into this huge, powerful global network. So how did he actually translate that vision into real, lasting institutions? Let's take a look at the organizations he helped build. The list is pretty incredible. He was a founder or a major player in so many organizations. He started student societies like the MSS to help young Muslims in the West. And then, and this is that engineer's mind at work, he scaled that idea globally with IFSO to connect student groups all over the world. He even built platforms for professionals, like the Association of Muslim Scientists and Engineers, creating a support system for people at every stage of life. Now, this work was definitely not without its challenges. He was faced with these really deep sectarian divides, like the historical tensions between Sunnis and Shiites. But his approach was so clear. Just ignore the stuff that divides us and focus completely on constructive action and the goals we share. He was all about building bridges, not walls. And this photo, I think it really captures how personal his work was. This wasn't something he managed from a distance, from some high-rise office. It was built through face-to-face conversations, through shared meals, and by traveling the world to really understand what communities needed firsthand. You know, to have this kind of impact, you need a really unique leadership style. So what was it about his approach that made so many people want to dedicate their own time and energy to his vision? This quote from his colleague, Dr. WAMY, is just so powerful. It speaks to this incredible capacity for work, this boundless energy. His personal impact was so profound that people saw him not just as a leader, but as an entire institution all by himself. But here's the real key to his leadership, and it's a huge lesson. It wasn't about command and control. Anytime somebody brought him a good idea, he would empower them to lead it, and he'd promise his full support. His whole philosophy was built on trust, on positive action, and this belief that even the smallest steps can lead to huge, monumental change. And these values, they weren't things he learned in a boardroom. They were instilled in him right from the beginning. His father, a merchant, taught him that trustworthiness is everything, that it's non-negotiable. And his mother taught him generosity by always having an open and welcoming home. I mean, that was the very bedrock of his character. So after 60 years of this tireless work, what's the tangible legacy? What did it all add up to? Well, let's just look at the numbers. Over 130. That's how many countries he traveled to. And we're not talking about tourism here. He went to these places to provide aid, to build communities, and to create understanding. That is a truly global footprint of service. Okay, now get ready for this number. 10 million. Through just one of the organizations he helped build, the IFSO, nearly 10 million books were translated into over 80 languages. Just think about the scale of that impact, spreading knowledge all across the entire planet. It's just immense. And in the end, it really all comes back to this simple, powerful idea from Dr. Totonji himself. It pretty much sums up his entire life's philosophy. You don't need some huge, grand plan to get started. Massive, positive change begins with simple, small steps. as long as they're taken in a true spirit of service. You know, the life of Dr. Ahmad Totonji is so much more than just an inspiring story. It's really a challenge to all of us. It makes you stop and ask yourself, if I combine my skills with my deepest beliefs, what's one small step I could take today? And what kind of ripple effect could that create in the world?